Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the TechGuy Podcast. Before moving forward, let's take 2 seconds silence for OpenAI Sora App. Okay, let's not forget that we did not see that coming. Like we totally see that coming. If you are a podcast viewer or as a listener for a long, like not just long period, like last 3 to 4 months, since the launch of Sora, we know that sooner or later it would have come to this point or something much more worse. But the point is like it's we are not surprised. Anyone in the industry is not surprised. Even on the Twitter, even on the news, you go ahead and see like people are just not surprised because there are some really obvious reasons that even OpenAI states openly. So yeah, we are going to talk about that, but the main reason we are also going to talk about that is what is the future of then OpenAI is planning, and what are the other reasons where other than the obvious reasons. Basically we are going to talk about that. And apart from that, we have another big news from Elon Musk regarding chip manufacturing, that is Terafab project. Again, interesting one. We will talk both of those in this video of basically 51st episode of the TechGuy Podcast. And here we go. Before moving forward, a side note, it is raining right now heavily, and you might see sometimes the rain sound is not too much, but sometimes thundering. So if there are some up and downs, I will try to reduce or silence that noise, but if I can't, sorry for that, because I don't think if I had to record, like, it's a summer rain, if you know anything about a summer rain, it is a brutal one. So that is kind of a side note I wanted to give you guys before moving forward. So let's get into the first topic. I think we will go with the Terafab one. So let's go with it. So Terafab is a big project, kind of an ambitious project launched by Elon's company, so basically by Elon. So it is a project coexist between three companies, basically XAI and Tesla and SpaceX. So it is a chip manufacturing lab, like a big lab where they will basically like design, test, manufacture, and improve at the same place. Like it is a big thing because a lot of companies, if you know that, just design chips. They then outsource the manufacturing part of it, and then there are a lot of outsourcing when it comes to chip manufacturing. Now this single alone factory, as stated by Elon, will do everything in just one place. So it is a big deal for him and a lot of the major industry. And because it is going to be in US, right besides the Tesla Gigafactory, which is in Austin, Texas. And they are going to manufacture three kind of chips, that is A15, A16. So both of those chips will be made for cars, basically there are Teslas, and the robots, that is their Optimus, that if like you have known, like we have known them for like last 2 years since they have been launched. And then the third type of chip is they're calling it D3. Those chips will be specifically for space one. So how the space is getting involved in this whole chip, we will also talk about that. But the idea behind making this kind of big factory is simple, and like you might have guessed when he announced, and he even talked about that. But yeah, being self-reliant, like it is simple. Making your own chip, manufacturing and testing is a kind of a big deal, and they have the capacity to do it. He has one of the most largest companies in his hand. He's also one of the richest person in the world. So he has capacity, and it is kind of a future proofing for your company too. And so yeah, another reason that Elon states in the event itself, I will link down the event in the description in the show notes. If you want to go check it out, the live stream that they did on X. But so the reason also Elon mentions in the event was industry cannot keep up with the products and the need of chip, in his products, basically. So he states that whoever it is making a Nvidia, whoever is a chip manufacturing out there, they the amount of chips they produce is just not enough, because it's just not enough for their products that they need in the specifically in the future. And the future, he believes, is that they are going to nail the humanoid robot aspect, and they are definitely going to be much more progress. They're going to do a much more progress in D3 space missions, and also with the cars, like they are already doing it. But the thing is, as robotics improve more and more, and the on-ground application kind of gets accessible for robotics to do enough, more and more robots will be getting produced than the cars out right now. So millions of, like hundreds of millions of robots will be produced more than the car itself. So they need more chips, and making your own factory like that does not mean that, I feel like, they are fulfilling their kind of an, let's say, they are not definitely not fulfilling their own goal. So it is just kind of an first of all being self-reliant, I called it, and having their own manufacturing industry and just planting a seed is kind of a long-term goal. So it's not going to fulfill their whatever the demand is what they are going to have. It's just first of all kind of a sense of a message to all other companies that, like, he can do it within himself. I feel like that is kind of a message that I get it from here, is that if Elon was to make his own chip, test it and manufacture it at one place, they can do it in America right there besides the Tesla one. And they have got the land, they have got the permission from the government. So it is kind of an big deal for all industry. Now, like I said, it is a long term plan, and it is uh, also to grow the business part of it. So imagine, it's not just that he will be developing his own chips. Imagine is that every other manufacturer, every other industry that needs these chips in this tech industry are what? Cars, smartphones, and even a lot of the other products in future, let's say. Now, let's say Elon Musk, in this specific one factory, it's not just manufactures it, but also test it, improve it, or even develop a specific new kind of chips. Like, he might sell this kind of chips to other companies that he is making for his own products, that is D3, A15 and A16. But I also believe that he will be making much more chips for the other companies too. Like, for, let's say, for example, which I think will never happen, but for, let's say Apple comes to the Elon Musk, so to, let's say, to the factory and say that we want to this amount of chips from your side, we have our M series and A series, and you can give it to us. And Elon Musk will like, yeah, why not? It's a big business deal for them. He gets to make chips for them. Money is just inflow, and he just has to manufacture those chips in-house in America. So, like, making kind of a diversification of your products and of your sources is also a good deal for a lot of other big companies, and also whoever small other companies are growing inside America and all around the world too. Because we saw last year what happened, like with the tariff situation by Donald Trump, and not just all other the countries, but also in specifically US countries were also kind of an really big shock, and also confused, and also kind of an just in a mode of how can we solve this. Now some companies got kind of an uh, some companies like Apple got relief by Donald Trump, that like saying, yeah, I will not have tariff affect your company, due to, like, if you pay me this kind of, and that situation happened last year. But see, the thing with this kind of a factory is that there are multi kind of an uses. Now, in terms of, let's just talk about, like, what I talk right now is just kind of a future distant goal. I believe that he will be doing with other companies with the kind of deals. But I also believe that this perfectly fits in the business what ultimately Elon is a part of, like Tesla, like XAI, SpaceX, where he's producing, especially the product wise, is humanoid robots, that is Optimus ones, cars that are popular and also good enough, and also the SpaceX, which is highly progressing, and one of the most can be the biggest companies if done IPO, that is we have rumor. Now imagine they need all chips inside them. They need powerful chips, they need more and more chips inside them. That is what this just factory comes in right place at the right time for them, where they will not just make their own chips. The benefit of it is that they have the all control of themselves, and the best part about it is that, like again, it just coexists perfectly with their, or they are their the thing is they are their own customers here. It's not that it is that own separate company where it is kind of in building the chips for others and hoping they would buy. It is like kind of a need, it is simple as that. When in a product or in a business you need something and you make that, kind of a simple strategy right there. Like again, it is a long term goal. In next 2 to 3 years coming, they might make their chips at a level where they are kind of an good, he talks about that in the event 2 specifically. So basically this just coexists to fulfill his existing companies right now. Like it will be helpful. Like chips are such a big deal for AI right now to run this high amount of large language models, for all the companies like XAI, which is a kind of an high performance model with heavy models, which needs to kind of and have a good amount of chips, and this is the reason why it's called Terafab is just because it has terabytes of power, so basically it needs a lot of power. So if these chips are power up, they are going to take a terabyte of power, which again does not exist. That's why the space one kind of an D3 chips kind of, and we will talk about that later on. But see, get the idea, right? So basically this whole thing with the Terafab that Elon is trying to do is just to make and coexist because of the other companies. So basically they coexist well enough so that basically the chips are needed. That's why they are making it. It's that simple. Now the fact that it is also kind of a rumor that we know that the SpaceX, which under now basically XAI and both X kind of an are together, and XAI is part of SpaceX, and we also have a rumor that Tesla is going to be part of SpaceX in future. So basically Elon is trying to make a big giant IPO, which will be public, kind of a rumor that we had last month, which will be public later this year or even next year, so it is kind of an also a big deal for them to launch this now before even getting the IPO rumor out, strong rumors out right now, which can be a big deal because it will affect a lot when they are going to be out as a public company. That is also another angle that I thought, because we had kind of a strong rumors specifically from Bloomberg only, like the day before XAI merged to SpaceX, we got a rumor from like kind of a source from Bloomberg that XAI and Tesla both are going to, there are talks, both are going to be under SpaceX, and SpaceX might have a kind of an IPO and going to be public in next couple of months only. So we had kind of a strong rumors like that from Bloomberg only. So it is kind of an makes sense for them to make another factory in there to make this IPO much more bigger and much more sound like it is a big deal to just what they are trying to achieve here. So let's talk about now the space chips. Okay, the spaceships D3 is also a big ambitious one that he talked about in the live stream, because he talks about in space more power can be obtained because of solar energy, because the sun, where a 24/7 solar panels something like that can power those chips a lot, and those chips powering 1 terabyte of, getting 1 terabyte of power from those solar energy from the sun can do a lot of more of computing than any other. So that is, like I said, a big ambitious one, because he also Elon states that, like, I don't know too much about it, but Elon states that in the making of D3 kind of chips, it is much more easier to maintain them in terms of it is much more cost efficient than making chips and kind of keep those chips running in on the earth rather than in the space. So basically space is kind of cheaper because they don't have to think too much about cooling aspect of it, because at space the temperature is so low, and they don't also have to think about the space, basically literally a space. So he talks about they can just more and more send chips out there, and they can power up with 1 terawatt, because these chips will be using 1 terawatt of power, which kind of like is non-achievable for now, because even if the whole US whole country can't like don't even use 1 terawatt of power. So you get the idea that how amount of powerful power will be needed to energize, like to even use this chip for computing. So that's why he talked about D3 space chips, about solar ones, where they will use solar energy, solar with through solar panels. And like I said, he also talks about that is it is kind of an cost efficient. Now his words, not mine. He talks about that specifically in his live stream. So we will get to it, because it's not that we are not going to see in deep that how it is going to be in space, like how cost efficient he is talking about. But he is kind of an uh, going to capitalize over SpaceX rockets and what he has right now in his kind of in pockets to make it happen, and he also talks about like nobody just wants these powerful chips running in their backyard, with those sounds. And I'm just glad he knows the issue, what is happening with the you know at least he kind of make a joke around it. But it is kind of serious that this, if you are living near any kind of these data centers, these powerful chips that are actually running right now, I'm not even talking about terawatt, people are going, like, people are suffering because of that. Like a lot of a lot of journalists have made video documents around it, where meta data centers have been affecting people's life besides that. And as more and more government is being approved, land is being approved to these companies, it is going to be difficult. So it is kind of an like I said, when he talks about the D3 chips, it is kind of a really big ambitious one, like down to the line of 4 to 5 years they might be able to do it, especially 3 years. He talks about that. Now you know how Elon is, like he the timeline, whatever the kind of an products and also kind of an big things he talks about, it is not going to be same. And there is always going to be the ambiguity of is it going to be really on point or not. And we know the history says it all. Specifically, let's say the recent one was Cybertruck, like the amount of, like, not just the delay, but it was announced so way earlier, and there are some cars that are still not out there. But yeah, uh, at least I will say it is kind of an interesting way into the business side. Like, I don't know too much about business, like I'm still learning a lot about this company. I'm still going on, uh, like this podcast, this kind of an going into industry is kind of in my experience only, like you are seeing. And at least seeing from, at least for now, it is kind of a big move, and I will say it is kind of a big good move from Elon right there to make their own chips, so yeah, let's see how it goes basically. And it is going to be kind of an, I will say, really important one, because Apple is also kind of an has planned to about $500 billion investment in US. And that investment, what Apple is planning, we don't know. I don't know that. I need to look back if they have talked about it. We have talked about it like how Apple is going to invest about $500 billion in the US itself for kind of an employment and in US growth of their company. But let's see, because we might see much more self-reliant data centers, sorry, data not data but labs driven, where for the specifically for the manufacturing part, which is a really kind of an, like, say, it shows not just a good business part of the move, but it also shows the part of the move like we can do it here. And I believe that, I hope every country, I'm going to take a tangent here, similar to this only. Like, the reason why I believe the self-reliant meant is really important for not just the companies all around the world, wherever you are established, let's say in India here, or even in China, or even in US right now, where this Terafab is going to be, having kind of a self-reliant, not just depending too much upon one country uh, is not a good thing. Like, don't depend too much on it, like having kind of an import and export balance is really important. If let's say the import is so much more, is import of coming from a specific country is so much more, like hundreds of billions of dollars, and export from your own country is going to be less, the balance is does not, if balance is not in favor of you or equal, they are going to be dominant one. And that is what happened in last year actually. So when Trump basically like laid off tariffs throughout the whole world, what happened, like when China had the upper hand around the manufacturing, the factories, the labs, the amount of just factories that China had, and the amount of self-reliant we saw these companies were, it just makes sense that they did not care about the tariff at all. Like, it was just back and forth of how the big tariff on each other countries that they were just giving out, because China did not at all care about how US, because they know how US companies are some of the most dependent on them only. So I believe, and that's why a lot of things happen, like Apple tried to kind of an import their smartphones through India, where there are lower tariffs from through planes, which they tried to do. And Apple is also trying to grow much more uh, here also in India, where there were also strong rumors of Apple being deploying a factory in India too, because China is not reliant now. And then Trump also backfiring to Apple, where you don't, like, you have to do manufacturing here or in US only. So that kind of an back and forth when it was happening last year, so a lot of people just saw nakedly how dependently on not just US companies, but a lot of the other world, like here in India, we are also a lot too dependent on China. So dependency between countries, dependency between, like, these are larger countries we are talking about, and same is that affects a lot, not just the tech industry but a lot. So I hope you understand that when there is just kind of a larger import export, and if it is not equal or just kind of a balance between, that company who is just have that kind of an upper hand, where last year it was China and still is going to be ruled here, so which will always win the battle in this kind of a situation. So I hope companies all around the world, I think we will be seeing much more kind of an investment, because a lot of companies from Apple, even OpenAI, even Microsoft, uh, and now Tesla we have seen, but they did a lot of deal and a lot of signed contracts with US government, that's saying that we will be deploying our own kind of an, like, we will be deploying, like, see, we will be investing, I mean, we will be investing in our own country with billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. And that is what will be happening in next couple of years, not too much of a faster, but yeah, it is going to happen. Like, a lot of companies will be trying to diversify, because they saw, I feel like, what last year, what a disaster can be because of just some person is a president right now. So let's see, that was kind of a tangent I definitely wanted to talk to you right now. So yeah, let me know what are the other angles in this whole thing about Terafab, and what do you think there are other factors where Elon is trying to achieve with this Terafab factory? I talked about a lot of self-reliant and kind of sending a message, and being manufacturing a chip is a big deal, especially now where RAM prices and where industry is just bloating so much, so the bubble that the prices are increasing. And we might see a lot of price hikes right now. The RAM is way too much, I will say, in terms of price wise high. Last time I see, when I wanted to buy 8 or like 2 16 gigs RAM of sticks, like it was 50,000 rupees of a specific company. That uh, so yeah, it is kind of an higher. You can get it definitely, like cheap wise, if you have deal here and there, but it's not just about us, it's just affects the whole industry overall, and in long term wise it also affects ultimately the user ones, like people like us. So yeah, we will see, I will be seeing a lot, seeing any kind of updates regarding Terafab or any kind of from Tesla, because we have a strong rumor, like I said, Tesla is going to be merged with XAI. Sorry, not XAI. Tesla is going to be merged with SpaceX separately, and so basically everything, every major country Elon, every major company that Elon owns, it will be under same umbrella. Will be under same subset. So it is kind of an interesting to move what they are trying to achieve. Let's see. This year is going to a lot of unfold, like a lot of big decisions are being made. So yeah, this is it, I will say, for Terafab, and we will take a break here, and after a break we will be talking about the obvious one, the Sora app shutting down. So we will take a break here, I will be right back. Now let's talk about the main thing here. So the Sora app shutting down, got kind of an we got news at Friday, uh, where it was kind of a confirmation, officially was through which I first heard was from the Sora Twitter account, where they posted that Sora app is going to shut down, and they will be giving further instructions regarding how they are going to, like, the time and timeline between how they are going to shut off or cool down. Basically you can talk about that, like say that about how app and API, and how the videos that you have generated will, how and when can you get, like, basically the timelines are still not fixed, that is it. And basically that was kind of a confirmation based online. Apart from that, not any kind of specific blog posted by OpenAI till to the date I'm recording right now. Okay, so that is it. But from the internal memos from the team that we have gotten, uh, that we have got, basically Reuters reported it from the internal memo that they got, that the team sent kind of, and team sent them this internal memo even just one day earlier, and said that said to the team that they are going to focus shift towards robotics and agentic AI. So that were the two things that they are going to shift towards. That was kind of talked about in the internal reports that Reuters got, and they reported it. That's why I'm saying to you. I will also link down the Reuters report in the description in the show notes. You can go check it out. Now, the other confirmation we have gotten is that Disney's deal we talked about two episodes before only, where $1 billion deal where OpenAI made with the Disney is been cancelled. Which is been confirmed by spokesperson by Disney only, which was about definitely, and which was kind of an uh, confirmed through a spokesperson for BBC when they talk towards them. And also Disney mentioning further that they respect the decision that they are shutting down to Sora. So I think they definitely kind of an told Disney couple of days, I feel like a week ago only, that they are going to shut it off. So you might want me to ready about your, not just the deal. I think they have definitely talked about their deal behind and how they want to end it, but they definitely seem to say I definitely think that they knew it beforehand, and they respect the decision. And Disney said that but they are not, like, going to stop looking for the AI. Basically the AI plan they have for their Disney Plus and for their company. So they are definitely now looking for other companies that are in, that will give them same kind of a deal, or we don't know what are other ones. But yeah, so Disney's decision to be an AI plan they have, that is getting integrated feed on their Disney Plus streaming app, and also getting their people in the, like, people in the company to let use that AI and think about how they want to integrate it. That was also a deal in that. So yeah, that was kind of an whole confirmation side, I will say to you, that the Disney deal is cancelled from OpenAI, and OpenAI is shutting down Sora app. Now Sora app is totally not shutting down, like Sora app is shutting down, but the Sora as a feature video generation is still not shutting down, and it will be a part of in OpenAI ChatGPT, just like what Google has, where you can make videos from there, but the standalone app is going to be shut down. So that's kind of an confirmation we have for now. But this is the second time I think we have heard that they are going to shut down because we want to focus towards robotics. Like last month we saw Tesla did that for their X and S model, where they are shutting their X and S model in the factory and going to much more focus towards Optimus robots. So that was kind of a pretty parallel here. And the decision, basically we know that it was pretty simple, and even OpenAI talked about a lot about it, that is that running that Sora app is kind of such a big cost for them to just make a video generated app like that. So basically it was a way too much costlier to keep that up. And it's like we had known that since the beginning of the launch. The video generation of kind of and something like that is going to take a lot of cost money. And OpenAI is not Google, OpenAI is also not XAI, and yeah, and they are also not Microsoft, because now they are want to be as kind of a separate company. So they are their own, and they can't just keep running and just burn this all kind of money. Like they were burning money on this product, that they launched last year, a couple of months ago basically. And it was kind of an simple from that logic wise, that near future, if it does not capitalize over how they want to make profits from it and how they want to keep the cost together, it is going to be then done for them. Because they did a lot of kind of an updates, like not just they did not waited, like they were doing a lot of kind of an content, where not content, like they were giving a lot of kind of an updates regarding Sora app quickly. Like in this just first, after just first month of announcing it, I think Sam talks about how they are going to allow NFS and SFW kind of an works. So basically not safe for work kind of and those content. So adult content you can generate through those Sora app. So they were definitely, after that news, we definitely kind of saw that the desperation from them to let users do whatever they want, but let them take the subscription plan. And also the fact that they were also they were also, like we covered this a couple of months ago, we covered this. They were also planning that to have a monetization system just like what YouTube has specifically for shorts, to have kind of an pay kind of a deal where the users who are generating videos from it will get also paid through it. So basically what it is, that the monetization model was still on in the works too. So basically they were going on for a work for a lot of things, like the adult content, then the monetization model, which both of those hinted towards that they need money out of it, because we know that it was not a cost efficient product. So you just see that the signs that I talked earlier in the intro, that the signs were already there throughout the months. Okay, it's not that we don't know, and that's why I said everyone in the industry know that how are they going to monetize it. They did not release the monetization model, they did not release kind of an like the revenue model they wanted to release, and now it is shutting down. So that's there. And I also talked about how like one of my major problems with Sora is just the tool, why we are giving such a powerful tool access to everybody for free. And not just for free, like I'm not saying that you should even pay for, like you should even use it for kind of a monetization to give this a powerful tool. But there was no moderation for these apps. Like there was no kind of a big moderation for Sora ultimately, and that's why, because of that, lots of problems happen in Sora itself app. Like a lot of actors complain about the AI generated images, the videos that they were generating, they were getting generated. Bryan Cranston is one of those actors. Even I feel like the Tom Cruise also. Like, but Bryan Cranston, I definitely know that he had to go through legal route where all the industry like SAG-AFTRA and Bryan Cranston and OpenAI team were involving, and it's all definitely it definitely just got solved, but it was not kind of a development towards how they are going to do it. The people's image were you getting used left and right, and the problem was, like I said, unethical uses that is going to be much more harmful near future. So I'm just glad that it is shut down, because there was no thinking behind launching Sora app, because that is the major problem for me throughout, not just with the Sora, but with the all AI visual tools that we have right now, with the Google's nano banana models, with the Meta's Meta also has video gen, image gen, I believe. So it is kind of an models where not just video ones, but the images one, where a one person can just makes kind of a realistic footages and deceive people through with fake information, fake incidents, fake blackmailing, like everything can be done through it. So that was kind of a really rough patch for it, and that's why I said it's like, it's not that we don't want this kind of tools, but the problem is we do want some kind of moderation towards it. And that's why I believe that they were having so much ups and downs, and the PR regarding the whole app is mostly, I believe, is in the negative one. Like there were more negatives than positives for the app, I believe. Like people don't like the slop, specifically what it created throughout last couple of months, and it was just flooded all over the internet. Now a lot of companies like YouTube double down on it and make their PR good. I don't think they make the app itself good, because they definitely kill down a lot of AI slop app on the YouTube shorts, basically, where millions of subscribers were there for AI slop, because now they have definitely took down a lot of one. Also one of the most biggest channels, AI slop channel, they have also taken down those kind of channels too. But like it was net positive for YouTube in that sense. But according to when, like from the my perspective here, definitely the net negative for the PR perspective. Like the public opinion was not great. Like a lot of questions were not answered, and the way they are going to give updates, and the way they were going to just allow adult content and monetization benefit if you do those, like was also in a negative perspective, even though you give revenue to the people. So it was kind of an already a downfalling product. So it's not that it was kind of an, like I said again, not surprising. Also the fact that last month where ChatGPT had millions of users just got gone because of how they deal with war department of war, I think Department of Defense, basically. They had a deal because Anthropic pulled out of it because they were doing unethical things, which we know. But they openly talked about, and because of that, see, for ultimately the Chat GPT and whole OpenAI, the negative pair is still there. The whole company's perspective, where it's like to go for the money, like because they have to survive and also have to kind of let's say make s- uh, a product out there, I will say. I feel like when I see from my perspective, they're like struggling, and also the fact that they want deals, but also fact that like they talked about how the ads model is good, where they talked about like how last month they have just literally introduced the ads model in ChatGPT free and go version, and they talked about how ads is just beneficial for universal model, where everyone can use the model because it is powered by ads, which we know it's not true. you know just say you want to make money ultimately, and that's the goal. That's why they had like that's why they just immediately go to the Department of Defense to get that deal, when anthropic pulled out because of how unethical it was from, basically, the deal was, and the reason why it got major PR is because how Anthropic thought talk towards that deal, because they openly stated they were not happy how the deal was going forward, and just they need to pull down and they do not support it. And when OpenAI entered it, it has, like, it was just blatant, like OpenAI needs that money. They don't care about AI being used unethically right there. So let's, like, that was kind of an also a bottom, fact. And they are now trying to basically make sure, like, they are now like, if you go to on their main channel and see the podcast they do, and like the recent podcast where they talked about the ads model, how ads model is good, it was kind of an such a bad like overall bad kind of an conversation that I just saw right couple of days ago, where the only conversation was how ads is just good, and how ads is just good for their revenue model. They just like they just try to kind of and revolve around the world, like we need money. Like they just use different words for that. It is good, sustainable for us. They talked about how it is good and sustainable for us, but they don't state like we need money. That, like, it is what it is. Like, it is just kind of in fact that like they need money and they are out of it, because they just invest a lot of it into the AI, and they thought AI adaptation rate is going to be much more higher. So it was that kind of a thing. So that's there. But like I said, net negative perspective for OpenAI. And it's not that I will say like anyone could have just grabbed that deal. Like, just OpenAI was just in that shot where they just got to it and take the deal. So that's there. Now let's see. OpenAI OpenAI stated that they want to be make sure and focus on robotics and agentic AI. Now, like I said, robotics is kind of an much more talk about since last month, when Elon Musk kind of an whole, like, they also kind of and remove the manufacturing for X and S model. But yeah, the ultimate I want you guys to understand, the ultimate business model of OpenAI is to sell their models, to sell their new models, whatever it is, to the other companies, to the enterprise, to the users like us if you want, and to have government deals like what Department of War or like Department of Defense had. So basically, the whole model of any AI company is to give and sell their models out. It is model is their product. So basically, LLMs, whatever they produce, like last year it was ChatGPT 5, now they are at ChatGPT 4 5.4, but this year we will definitely get ChatGPT 6. So basically, the large language model is their selling point, you know to like these large models, and they have to make a good model, and so they are in the industry. Now the model is definitely good. It's just the thing is, open with the open AI, they are kind of in the rough spot compared to other AI companies. They want to rush forward, they want to make much more kind of products where like they want to get up there. They are not going towards how Anthropic is going towards. They are not trying to go with the route of, like, even, let's say, other AI companies like shish or like companies like, let's say. But the thing, ultimately, what I'm trying to say is that the one, like, OpenAI tried to rush it, and a lot of investments and a lot of kind of in those kind of things makes them try a lot of other things, like what OpenAI is ultimately trying to do. And I specifically talked about that in the last year. OpenAI is trying to just throw things at out us. Is like, if it works, they will see it couple of months, and if it does not work, then they will just shut it down. So that's the kind of a thing. They are trying to just give out more features. So that's why I feel like when it comes to OpenAI or any other AI business model, their ultimate business model is to sell you the enterprise, or basically the models to you. That's the ultimate business model, and that same is also the reason why they are moving towards agentic AI. Agentic AI is one of those specific kind of a feature where it is, if any of the companies nail it first, or they are doing it well, but not to the extent what we think the agentic AI can do. But uh, agentic AI is one of those things where if they nail it right, it can be integrated within apps, within software products, and within most of fundamentally their own product that they want to sell. So basically is that the agentic AI, the fact that agentic AI can be much more profitable for them, and that makes sense for their growth. It is kind of a path that every other AI company is taking right now. Every other AI company is moving towards agentic AI. Like this month only we talked about how Samsung is trying to get an early access from Android to show that how agentic integration, AI agentic integration works within a smartphone. So imagine that working and giving that same kind of an features to companies, to kind of an organization, like those enterprise model. So basically that's their business model, and they are going to focus on much more that, which I believe, and ultimately which also benefits for them, because they are going for a product launch, hardware product, not the software one, but they are going for a launch of a product next year. And so they definitely want to have kind of an to achieve at a level of agentic AI, so that can be helpful for them only ultimately. So they need to focus on that. And when it comes to robotics, I think that it is a long term goal when it comes to robotics. That's why I said when it comes to Elon Musk too. But robotics just does not mean humanoid robots. Robotics have, like, in when it comes to robots, there are different parts of, like, kinds of robots, uh, through different uses of robots, and in, like, depending upon what kind of factory it is. So humanoid robot, putting that one aside, even those dog robots by them, putting that whole robots aside, there are robots we need, and specifically for big factories is kind of an, like, a big deal. So having kind of an work for that for a long term kind of an makes sense. So basically this is an ultimate path for an any AI company. So that's why I think OpenAI is moving towards it, and also it is kind of an easy answer for them to give you. So that's there. I feel like agentic AI, going for robotics is kind of an typical path for now for any AI company, for Anthropic, for, like, defining what kind of an AI they are, like Anthropic, XAI, Google Gemini is also entering everywhere. And the thing with AI throughout since last year and this year too is that the adaptation of AI is not that what these companies expected. Like Samsung, we saw this year the major feature was their privacy display and the horizontal lock. The most talked feature was that, not the AI ones. Even the best AI feature, the agentic AI, is not even going to get for everyone. Like, that is for just early access for some users. So you get the idea that even Samsung has more than 15 to 20 AI features. They don't talk about it even in their events around. The thing is, AI is one of those things where every company is trying to figure it out still to this date. Even Apple did not even talk about at all in the last event they did, when they launched their iPhone 17. Like, even without that, the iPhone 17 was still good. It was, and one of the best kind of an iPhones to come out in years. So you get the idea that the AI integration, the AI adaptation, we know that, but still there, is that it's still pretty low. What the giants in the industry, basically people in the industry, basically these AI companies expected, especially Sam. They talked about how AI is going to be change everything. They talked about how the integration is going to be everything. But the thing is, it is not easy for the integration. Like, you can just see by the giants like Apple, where now they are making deals. Now we have gotten some kind of idea where Apple is going towards AI, and now we know that they have gotten for Gemini, and they are not even working with their own models right now. They are going and working with Google and with Gemini to have those AI features. Just so you know that they are, even though they are working, they are not going to just launch an AI product, AI feature just right now, you know. So it is kind of an, let's say, from the fact that even Apple or even Samsung, the big thing is Samsung here, you know, the company that will go for it is even not trying to get that. So what I'm trying to say here is that AI is one of those things where the adaptation is not as simple as we thought, and also the fact that it is going to get time. Now also I am going to talk about here about any kind of new technology, you know, like any kind of new technology, whenever it is come, the adaptation rate, whatever it is not going to be rapid at all. It is going to be easy, slow growth. Like in just either 1 year of span, not every company going to try and just shift their whole entire workflow for AI. You know, what companies want is ultimately how their system can be improved by AI. I feel like that is the goal that companies are trying to do. That is what big companies specifically are trying to. Finance companies, JP Morgan, I believe that they're trying to, what they're achieve is that improve their system, improve their workflow, how they can improve just 10 minutes of time, like workflow, and just increase the amount of output they can with the help of AI, rather than just changing their whole system for AI, which is not sufficient, which is ultimately insufficient for any company, I believe. And the thing is also the fact that one of the also the fact that, like, just don't listen to the companies like OpenAI and Google or Gemini. Like, they are the companies who are trying to sell their product to you. You know, Google, Gemini, Google with their Gemini, XAI from Elon, Anthropic. You know, these are like kind of an companies who are just trying to sell you their product. You know, like, if they say that their product is going to change the world forever, why would they not say it? You know, why would they not just say, like, they would definitely say those kind of things because they just want to sell their product. So understand that, you know, not everyone needs AI right now, because the technology is so far ahead right now, and the tech is so far ahead. Like, even me who talks about AI tech every day, it's hard for me to integrate AI in my workflow, not because it's like it is hard for me to integrate it because I can't do it. It's like I can do it, but the thing is, do I even need it? So I just always go back and forth, where do I need AI? Should I like integrate AI here? What kind of use that AI can do for me, and how my productivity and my time can be decreased for a certain amount of task is the goal here. But it's still hard for me. So imagine just how it is going for any other companies, where, and not just big companies, but there are so many companies out there that the integration is not as simple as that we think. You know, just giving people the subscriptions for this AI, for this AI like models, is not going to help people at all. You know, what is going to help them is they learn themselves, is how they can be achieve their peak performance with the help of this AI, you know. And let's see how it goes, because like I said, it is the fact that AI, for AI, for some people it is, AI is just not there. For some people it is like, know your thing, let's just kind of and think for yourself, do you even need it? Same is going for other, like, I know it is kind of a tangent from the topic of OpenAI, but it's not there too much to talk about them for now, because we talked about a lot of angles here with OpenAI. The major angle is definitely the cost that we talked about and we all know, but the other angles, like, they want to focus on agentic AI and robotics, which is kind of an, like I said again, a traditional typical path for any AI company, and they will be going towards it, and they will be kind of an uh, a, this is kind of an path which is kind of an non-negotiable for any other AI company. So like I said, that is also another angle, and I believe that the negative PR for Sora and just so much kind of an cost just help them to take the decision, I believe, in the end. It just help them is like, yeah, we can't keep this running, this app, we just need to kill it. So yeah, any of the further updates regarding it, or if you have ever even used Sora, because I think Sora did not even make out of the specific countries, because it did not even made until here in India too. So so yeah, it is kind of, and like I said, from start only, like they knew what they are stepping into, and it was this was one of the possibilities that they have to shut it down, because if it not work at all. So yeah, because OpenAI is also kind of messed up with their Apple deal. you know like Apple first of all made a deal with OpenAI in 2024 when it comes to AI, and how ChatGPT was integrated in, it still is integrated in Apple. But the fact that OpenAI did not make kind of an could not was not able to make a deal like what Google did with Apple, just makes kind of an sure shot that how a traditional partnership or a long term partnership just has helped Google here, or like to have made this deal ultimately. Apple and Google are long term partnership, and like I said, even like when that first was announced, my major first reaction was OpenAI just messed up their biggest deal of lifetime. Because imagine if that same deal, I know $1 billion is not enough, but for OpenAI is a big deal, and a long-term partnership could have helped them, but they did not. And now the Disney deal is gone, and now let's see how, like, because in next couple of months or next 1 or 2 months we might see uh, the ChatGPT 6, the newer model. We also might see some agentic models where from OpenAI, proper agentic model where for the enterprise and there too. Because right now the revenue for OpenAI is not looking good for now. Like I said, they are still burning cash, and let's see what we get any kind of update regarding their app. Sorry, not app, like update regarding their like product with Johnny I, which still kind of an is kind of an has cooled down. Like there are not any more kind of an updates. Like it did a pretty much big deal was last year in the month of like May or June when it was announced. People were freaking out because of Johnny Ive, not because of Sam making deal. Like Johnny Ive was entering it because he kind of made like insane products, like product designs when he was with Apple. So he is kind of a capable person who can make a good product here. But let's see, we have not gotten any kind of update regarding it. I hope we at least see to get that product visually, at least, in terms of video form or any kind of testing what Sam is doing. Just show us, man, what is the product, Sam, what is that product? Just show it, and that's it that I'm asking for from OpenAI this year. Because I don't think that I will be much more benefited from ChatGPT 6 if there is again kind of a new feature for like Codex was really good, but if there was any kind of new feature for agentic AI, let's see what you have got there right there. And also the fact that the browser they introduced was so basic and so just money hungry move from them, because that browser was so bad that I was like, what are they trying to do there? Like it is the most simple thing to do. Like they just copy pasted the thing with ChatGPT and that's it, that's your browser right there. They did not even the fact that try to do what Perplexity did with its browser. But let's see. It's okay. Yeah, the browser is still not all available all on the Windows, which is again the fact that I don't know why. Like I'm still kind of an like I'm still kind of a fact that think that the browser is going to shut down or going to integrate with ChatGPT. I don't, because the fact that we still haven't got any kind of an updates for the browser too, because it is still not available on Windows. Which is the fact that it's like Windows is the biggest OS that all the world uses. More than Apple. Like how the fact that it is still not available to Windows users is still uh, boggles my mind. So yeah, I think, you see, the OpenAI is one of those thing. Is it is like, I just checked it. It's still not out, not yet officially available for Windows. So you can just see how serious they are with their products. Uh, like I use I have no Perplexity browsers, Comet, I feel. Yeah, I don't know what OpenAI is trying to do. Hopefully, we get some good products, and if this continues, then the thing is the bubble will burst for OpenAI. And I have always talked about the bubble is formed around OpenAI. The whole company, and if it is not working for them, it might be the part where they might again merge with Microsoft, which might help them for a long term plan, which is, I think, also Satya is looking forward, that let them merge with me again, because Microsoft can help them a lot with money and infrastructure compared to what they are now. So they are, I think, also, like, it is kind of a game that Microsoft is playing long term. Like, Microsoft is also pressuring, like, also have an upper hand on OpenAI because of Microsoft help a lot, especially when Sam was gone. Satya helped him a lot. So it is kind of a fact that Microsoft will get the latest models from OpenAI, will get kind of a really good deals from OpenAI. And the fact that Satya is looking will be for, like, let them sink and I will just go and grab them. That kind of a move can be done by Microsoft from Satya Nadella. I might see that coming this year too. Like, if it does not works up, the product like Johnny Ive, if does not come into the market, or the ChatGPT 6 or any kind of new agentic AI feature that they are working on, if that does not works on, and then like Microsoft might eat them basically here, because that's the best possible answer. That's the best possible answer, that Satya will be going, like, Sam will be going towards Satya for help. And yeah, and he is willing to do it, and he wants OpenAI to come to him again, because they know how a good kind of a company it is, valuable. And yeah, so let's see what happens. It is kind of a lot of different angles we talked about regarding this, regarding OpenAI's future, which I believe kind of an is looking forward. I'm looking forward to it, see what is going to happen, what is new drama is unfolding there, right there. So yeah, that is it for, I will say, this week's episode of the Tech Guy Podcast. I know it is a couple of days late, 2 days late. I wanted to release this episode on Saturday, but yeah. So I will see you guys upcoming Friday or Saturday, most probably, with more news. So basically, I only wanted to talk about these two major news from them, because it just kind of a big deal, I feel like. Let me know, do you feel like these are some kind of a big shift towards something kind of a bigger? There are different angles towards it. Let me know down in the comment section. And in the next episode, like I said, in this specific episode that I will be talking about, uh, i will I will be talking about the OpenAI and Department of Defense deal that they did, what kind of deal it is, and how kind of a, let's say, OpenAI has just gotten dragged into it, because they did not know. I don't think OpenAI did knew that. They just think that, oh, you are getting good money, let's just go and do it. So yeah, so there are a lot of angles right there too. Let's see what happens. We will talk about much more news regarding what is happened, like last couple of weeks. There are some small news, there are some big news that happened also, like YouTube and Meta basically got kind of a guilty from the jury in New Mexico for being addictive, which is kind of an historic deal, kind of which I didn't know. We will talk about it in depth in next episode, so do tune in for that. So yeah, that is it for this week's episode of the Tech Guy Podcast. Let me know now your thoughts in the comment section, and I will see you guys Friday or Saturday. See ya.